welcome back to my channel. So as you can see by the title of this video, I am going to be following a makeup tutorial. This was something you guys decided on my Instagram. If you don't currently follow me on Instagram, then head over. It is Clueless_MUA87, and basically I do a poll a few days before I upload, and that way you guys get to decide which video will be getting shown. So with the poll, you guys also got to choose which YouTuber's makeup tutorial I follow. I gave you the choices between NikkieTutorials and Sophdoeslife, and Sophdoeslife won. So the video I chose was her Makeup 101, which is a back to basic makeup tutorial. Soph is not a makeup artist, so I think that's actually a good thing in a way, because some like beauty YouTubers' makeups may be a little bit more like intimidating. I feel like this is back to basics. This is something you can wear every day. It's not a colourful like out there look, but it is just something you can wear every day, and you know, it doesn't matter where your makeup skills currently sit. I think this video is an amazing, you know, way to get your makeup skills improved. Before I get started into the makeup tutorial, I just wanted to quickly like touch upon something that's just a little bit exciting. Just a tad. I hit 100 subscribers, guys. I've hit 100 subscribers. At the time I'm filming this video, I am currently sitting at 112. Like, what? Now, I started this channel as a little bit of a hobby, kind of during lockdown, and I never expected to go anywhere. I don't expect it still to this day to go anywhere. I don't expect to get to a point where I'm going to be monetized, because like, I'm not an amazing makeup artist. I'm doing this for fun. I want to just like kind of film me like improving my makeup skill. So it's very amazing that you have guys. Well, obviously for you guys, that means good news. That means the giveaway can be announced. So the giveaway won't be announced today. I'm going to announce the giveaway on Thursday at 8 p.m. and that will be British Standard Time. So basically I'm going to upload my video as usual at 7 p.m. and then at 8 p.m. head over to my Instagram where the winner will be announced. Again, Instagram is Clueless_MUA87, but I will leave a clickable link just down below, so that way you guys can head over and also follow if you haven't already. If you have already entered the giveaway or you are just entering the giveaway, can you please all leave a comment down below in this video so I know your social media names, whether that's Twitter or Instagram, and it's just so that I can get in contact with you that way. It's a lot easier. It's harder to, you know, have a conversation with someone through the comment box, and obviously you'll need to give me your like address details, and also that's not something you want to discuss over YouTube. I fully understand that us YouTubers doing giveaways is a way to entice brand new subscribers, but I would like to think that now that a lot of you have probably watched a lot of my videos, have, you know, liked, watched them, spent time watching them, you know, or maybe in a thought that I actually want to stay subscribed to this person, I am no longer just all about the giveaway. And I understand if you are, but obviously it would be really sad and disappointing that just because the giveaway is over, then you know, you leave my channel, because you know, I'm not doing the giveaway 100% to gain 100 subscribers. It's just a way for me to celebrate 100 subscribers. So it would be really silly for me to be doing this giveaway and then suddenly I lose like and then go under 100 subscribers, because then it's just it's a bit frustrating. So if you unfortunately don't win this giveaway, guys, please don't be like upset or sad by it, because obviously I can only give one person, but it doesn't mean that giveaways will not be happening in the future. We still have the 150 mark to hit, we still have the 200 mark to hit, we still have the 250, and so on and so on and so on. So there will be more chances to win giveaways. And as my channel will grow and hopefully my Instagram will grow as well, then I hope to do some more giveaways over there as well. So again, please get over there and follow so that we can get all of these just growing and we can become an amazing like group that can connect, we can communicate, and also as well I want to know who you guys are so that I can make sure that my content is exactly what you guys want to be watching. Okay. So the blah 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 blah, let's get into the video. Let's see what Sophie has in store for us. I'm so in love with you. Okay, So I am going to go and put my headphones in just so you guys don't hear the video being played, because I will have the video playing in either side of me, whichever side I can fit the video in. So you guys will be able to watch the video as we go as well, and you can see if I do a good job compared to her or not. Let's hope. At the start of this video, she does her usual say hi and, you know, stuff like that, but she also has got a little ad moment, so I am just skipping straight into the video.
The first thing that I would recommend with makeup, once you've done your moisturiser and SPF, because SPF is important if you don't want your skin to wrinkle. Primer. There are so many different primers that I never used to believe in primer. If you used to watch my channel, I would always be like, nah, you don't need a primer. But since I've been testing them more, it's probably best to have a primer. Depending on your skin type, there are different ones. There are hydrating ones. For example, this is the L'Oreal Magic Essence Drops. I've actually nearly run out of these. I love this. I mean, like, I'm not a dermatologist.
So the ones I'm going to use, and as I just said, I have already moisturised my skin, so I'm not doing this for moisture, but I actually just want to try this out. So I'm going to be using 2 primers as well, and I'm going to be using the W7 Princess drops, and I got these from B&M's, and it is a complexion booster and primer, and again, it is just like the L'Oreal one that she's using. It is a droplet and it's quite pink. So so this is the first time using it, and it is watery. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, it smells like bubblegum. Oh, that's smells nice.
If your skin's a little bit flaky, it's probably dry, and if your skin gets shiny throughout the day, it's probably oily. But to be honest, I use a combination of primers. I'm literally just using this L'Oreal one as my moisturiser because I forgot to moisturise. And a lot of people seem to think that if you have oily skin, you don't need to moisturise. But that's a complete myth. You still need to moisturise your skin, otherwise your skin's going to create more oils to kind of like compensate, and then your skin will just get even more oily. If you've been here a while, you're probably like, Soph, shut up. We know you have oily skin.
It's so funny she says that, because guys, I probably mention every single one of my videos that I've got oily skin. So it's just, I feel like with YouTube you kind of need to, like, I think it's better for us to constantly tell, like, in case you're new to the channel, like what type of skin we have, so that you know that maybe that video or the products we're using are not for you.
But because of that reason, I do like to go in with a matte primer. So this is the Max Factor Miracle Prep.
So I'm going to go in with my Face Studio primer, and that is by Maybelline, and it is a it's not a matte, but it is a like a pore filler.
Primer, pore minimizing and mattifying, but there are so many different types of primers on the market. General rule of thumb, like I said, if you've got more dry skin, I would go for a more hydrating one, and it should say on it, like, just read the description of the products. If you are unsure, ask somebody that's like working in the makeup shop. Same goes for foundations. If you do have more dry skin, go for a more glowy foundation. But I mean, it's totally up to preference. Like, at the moment, I'm not loving having a completely matte face. Like, I'd rather have like a little bit of dewiness. I'm just gonna go in with my Revlon Colour Stay. I'm using the shade 220 Natural Beige.
So I'm going to be using the exact same foundation, but I'm going to be using the shade 200 Nude. This is actually, again, one of my first times using this product. So yeah, I'm intrigued what's going to happen. I do not normally do this, but because she's doing it, I thought I better lead to example as I'm following her anyway.
Tools for foundation. The two that I use and have like tried and tested are a buffing brush and some kind of like beauty sponge. This one I think is from, I don't know, I can't remember. I'll try and find it and link it down below. My personal favourite is to just use like a beauty sponge, just because I'm not gonna lie, I really like the feeling on my face. It does seem to take a little bit of the coverage out, but I just find that it makes everything look really smooth. If you want to get a little bit more of a full coverage, then you can kind of like stipple your foundation on with a buffing brush. I don't like the flat foundation brushes, like a bog standard foundation brush that you just paint your foundation on your face with. I don't like those because I find that they make my face streaky. I'm not going to go into depth about tools in this video just because we would be here for about 17 hours. My favourite concealer at the moment is actually the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I'm nearly out of this as well. I use this. So
I'm going to use another kind of bougie one. I'm going to use my Dior Skin Corrector. This is a full coverage as well, and I use the shade 0N.
Shade Almond, and I love this stuff. It's really, really like easy to use. You don't need too much of it, so I'm just putting some under my eyes. A lot of people do like a massive triangle, but I really don't feel like that's necessary. Like I just kind of put it under my eyes. I usually put some down the center of my nose, on any blemishes obviously. Most makeup experts would tell you to not put your concealer directly on your face, but I don't really care. I find that it doesn't really make that much of a difference. My skin was clear for ages. The only reason it's breaking out at the moment is because I switched my peel. So people that are going to come for me in the comments being like, oh, you've got spots because you wear makeup every day. I don't wear makeup every day. I wash my beauty blender every single day. You know, like I do things kind of by the rules. My skin is just not liking me at the moment. So I just like to blend this around my eyes. I use the excess to kind of go around the edges of my nose, and then I blend out the rest of the concealer on my face. Again, you could use a brush, but I find it easier to just use my sponge to do like everything. If you want to use like powder, bronzer and blush and everything else, then I would say to powder now. There's pretty much two types of powder. There's loose powders, which are in loose form, messy, but good, or you can get a pressed powder which comes in a compact. Pressed powders are a lot easier for traveling, and also
now guys, I actually use both. I use a pressed powder. I use my Too Faced normally to brighten under my eyes, which again she kind of mentions that she doesn't really do that because her concealer does that. And I also use a loose powder or my Fit Me pressed powder to kind of for the rest of my face to set my makeup.
That they make a lot less of a mess. But for me personally, I find that loose powders make my makeup last a little bit longer. Oh god, this is gonna explode because I just taken it traveling and I didn't put the little stopper thing on, and now all of the powder's like in here. So I actually set my entire face with
so she is using something else. I'm actually gonna use a banana powder. I've never used banana powder before, but this is part of the W7. I've already put the powder in, so that's why I can't really show you the lid, but it is like part of that W7 again from B&M's. And I read somewhere that banana powder is actually something to kind of warm the complexion, but it also makes your makeup stay a little bit longer, so it's going to be worth trying out. My Revolution powder just goes absolutely everywhere, which like she says with her powder, but with this, because it has like a lid itself that I can just pop the powder into, I feel like I'm going to get less mess. Fingers crossed. Anyway, putting it in was less mess, so yeah.
Because I do set my whole face, I'm not gonna lie, I just go in with a massive powder brush and just kind of go ham. This is probably the least professional makeup lesson that anyone's ever seen, but like I kind of start with my under eyes because they crease quite quickly. Then I literally just set my whole face. So I'm then taking the Park Avenue Princess palette, which is by Tarte. I haven't used this one before, but it looks beautiful. So you do have some shades in here which you can use to brighten up your under eyes. To be honest, I don't really use powders to brighten up my under eyes because I find that my concealer does that enough. But in here we do have some contour shades and we have some bronzer shades. Difference between contour and bronzer. Contour is supposed to kind of replicate shadows to make you look a bit more chiseled. And then bronzer is to add warmth to kind of make it look like you've got a bit of a tan, like you've been on holiday. To be honest with you, most of the time now I just go in with bronzer. I used to do contour and bronzer, but I kind of like the look of just having bronzer. Like I'm not too bothered about the whole shadowy thing because I find that bronzer contours me enough anyway. So for contour, you want to use a more cool tone shade to look more like a shadow. So I'm taking this shade, which is called Carrot. So even though my cheekbones aren't the most prominent, like my face is quite round, you can...
So I'm just going to use my Dior because it is a lighter tone. I do not have anything with like cool tones, but this is kind of true to shade. It's not giving you like too much of a bronze effect, so I thought I would use this one because I don't have a cool for contouring.
You can kind of see where they start just like looking at your face in the mirror. Some people find it helps to go like, I just kind of like move my mouth to one side like this, and then you can kind of see a bit of shadow here. And then I find that it works a lot better if I blend my contour upwards. You don't want to blend it down, otherwise that will make some like weird looking shadows. So you want to kind of just go in at the same sort of angle as the shadow. So then hopefully you can see it's made like a bit of a shadow. And if you do make any mistakes, you can use one of like the lighter powders like this to just go underneath. Then for bronzer, you want to take a nice fluffy, not too dense brush. I just use one of these angled bronzer brushes.
So I'm going to take my warm, and this is the number 7. Guys, and this is one of my favourite, but it is a perfect bronzer for my shade, so it's giving me a warmth as well.
I'm going to take the shade called Angle from this palette, which is a bit more warm. I'm going to dip in a little bit, tap off the excess, which I find is really important. Wow, because this one is quite dark. And then you just want to add this to, again, your cheekbones to kind of make you look a little bit more warm. I like to put some around my forehead, the temples kind of here, like the sides of my forehead, a little bit to kind of connect it in the middle around my hairline, and mostly just kind of like on the sides of my forehead, just to kind of make you look a little bit three-dimensional, and also like, I don't know, I just feel like it makes me look a bit more alive, you know? You don't have to put it on your forehead. A lot of the time I get shouted at for putting bronzer, like too much bronzer on my forehead. So if you don't like that look, that's totally fine. I'm gonna go in with this blusher palette from Barry M, which is actually part of the...
Now, some of these products she is using from it's like the advent calendar. This is just before Christmas. So for my blusher, I'm going to use the Roxy palette, and because she mentions that she likes a peach color, I'm the exact same, guys, as you know. So I'm going to use this one here, which is a perfect peach shade for my skin tone.
I'm just dipping in a little bit, again, tapping off the excess. It's a lot easier to add a little bit of product and then add more than it is to like take it away, if that makes sense. So I just smile with my blush and just add it onto the very like roundest bits of my cheeks, and then I kind of bring it up a little bit above where I've done my bronzer. So
I'm actually really happy with that. That's probably the best my blush has looked in a while, guys. You know it's not looked
moving on
so
to highlighter, which is like my favorite thing in the whole world. A very important tip that I've learned for this is have 2 highlighter brushes. If you're going to be highlighting your nose and your brow bones and things, use one brush for your cheeks, and then for the smaller areas like brow bones, inner corners, nose, use a smaller brush, because otherwise you're just going to end up looking like, I don't know, you've just run like 6,000 miles and you're sweaty. I'm using my Makeup Revolution Soap Highlighter palette, and I'm using...
So I'm going to use my Makeup Obsession highlighter. You know how much I love this one. For £3, it is an amazing highlighter, and it is in, it's like the Mega Lightning one.
Gold shade, which is my favorite. So I just take a little bit on, well, I say a little bit, I take quite a lot on this brush, which is just like a tapered Luxe Powder Fusion brush from Zoeva. Again, I kind of like to smile so I can see the tops of my cheekbones like this, and then I literally just put this on the very tops of my cheekbones. You don't want to bring it down too low, and then I go a little bit around the side like this, and that is it for my cheeks. Same on the other side, just the tops of my cheekbones to make me look a little bit more angular. So I take like a really small concealer brush, and then I go in just under my brow bone to make that kind of pop a little bit. I then go onto my inner corners just to really brighten up your eyes. Can you see the difference between this eye and this eye? And then I also like to bring some down my nose. So I do a skinny little line about halfway down my nose, and then I just do a little bit on the very highest point of the tip of my nose, and I don't know, I just think it makes my nose look really cute. And then also a little bit on the Cupid's bow, not too much because you don't want it to look like you've got a Sula. Moving on, eyeshadow honestly just takes practice to get it right. I'm still not the best at eyeshadow, but like I've practiced a lot, and I've definitely learned a lot since doing it. Like I started doing my eyeshadow when I was maybe like 12, and I'm now 22. Wow, I've been doing eyeshadow for 10 years. You'd think that I'd be a pro. So I'm using my Extra Spice palette with Revolution. I know that everyone has got different techniques of doing their eyeshadow. I personally like to do it this way. I'm taking a medium brown shade, so this one is called Cookie Dough, and a fluffy brush. Again, doing a little tap off of the excess. And again, you want to hold the brush, not like this, so that you're like fully like going in there with the brush, you know. You want to hold it a little bit more loosely. And again, using a super light hand, I'm just going to do circular motions, starting at the outer part of my eye and through my crease. I find it's a lot easier to look down into a mirror, and you do want to blend this medium brown sort of colour relatively high up, and as you get towards the edges of your eyeshadow, you want to make the pressure even lighter, just so that it like blends it out really nicely without looking too harsh. So I'm just starting off with a really small amount of product, and then I'm just working that towards the inner kind of like crease of my eye socket. You can kind of feel like, okay, that's kind of gross, but you can kind of feel where your eye socket is, and you just want to like work that colour into there all the way round. I know that some people like to start with the darker colour, but I like to start with the kind of lighter transition colour just because that's what I find works for me. And I do blend it relatively high up because I find that if I just blend it like just on my eyelid here rather than blending it up to here, it kind of closes off your eyes and makes them look a bit smaller. So I'm just doing the same on the other side. Then the best thing to do, I'm now going in with a slightly darker brown. This one is called Chocolate Orange and this is quite a warm shade. I personally like to use quite warm coloured browns on my eyes just because I find that it makes my blue eyes stand out a bit more. So I'm going in with a smaller kind of like flatter brush. I'm just going to put this on the outer corners of my eye. So I'm just laying that down first. Just kind of like on the outer third, like here. Then I'm going back in with my blending brush to just blend that into that other shade. And I find that by putting the darker colour on the outer parts of your eye, it just kind of opens up your eye a little bit and makes them look a little bit bigger. And you can either blend it into a more like rounded shape, you can blend it into a more cat eye shape, just experiment with like the different shapes that you like. And then I'm going in with an even darker brown. This one is called Brownies, and I'm going to put a tiny bit of this just again like on the very outer corners of my eye, but I'm not going to blend that in very far at all. You don't even have to use this many colours, like you can literally do an eyeshadow look with just 2 colours. And then on the inner part of my eye, I normally use something a bit shimmery just to like open my eyes and brighten them up a bit.
Okay, so for my eye shimmer, I'm going to use my Dior one, and I'm going to take this flat brush like so, and we're just going to take it straight onto the brush that way. I'm actually just going to dip in, see if I can do it that way. No, that doesn't work. Do you know what we're gonna have to do, guys, is we're just gonna have to go straight on with it, I think.
The exact same thing if this was a powder or a cream. I'm just taking a smaller flat brush and I'm just gonna put this on the kind of inner half of my eyelid, just up to where I've blended those other shades. Sometimes as well, I find with powder eyeshadows that are shimmery, they sometimes do actually apply a bit better with your finger. So you can do that as well, just whack it on. Like, I don't really take any like precision with this, but can you see like this just makes my eye look a little bit more brighter with the shimmer. And then my inner corners are already highlighted because I put highlighter there already, but if you want to go back and add more shimmer to them, feel free. And then on my lower lash line, I don't do anything that exciting. I usually just take the same sort of browns that I've used on my eyelid, and then I run the darker shades around like 3/4 of the way along my eye. You don't have to put eyeshadow on your lower lash line. Some people have told me it makes me look like a raccoon, but I kind of like it. I feel like it just balances everything out, and again, it makes your eyes look so much bigger. And then I'm going to take a tiny bit of the shimmer again, just put that on the, well, kind of matching the upper eyelid, just along to where I've done it there, so I guess about like halfway along my lower lash line. And with mascara, I'm not going to do false lashes because that is an entirely separate video and I'm not even that great at doing them, so maybe watch someone else. Again, I've got a whole video on mascara. This is the Revolution Mascara Revolution.
So I'm going to take the W7 again from FIANCE. I'm going to give this one a try. It's got a hell of a wand.
My best trick again is to look down into a mirror and wiggle at the root of your lashes. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. I'm sexy and I know it. No, no one else, just me. Okay. The more you wiggle, the more volume you're gonna get. So if you wiggle and then drag up through your lashes, it will give them so much more volume than if you just do this. So I always wiggle first and then drag up. If you get any clumps, you can literally just pinch them with your fingers and then add a little bit more with the brush. But my biggest advice is if you want volume, wiggle that brush at the roots and then pull up through your lashes. It will change your life. Not being dramatic, but it will. If you haven't done that before, please try it and report back in the comments because I'd love to see if it did change your life. And then on the lower lashes, obviously, most people don't like to have as much as the top lashes, but I still like to do the wiggle just to like catch them all. To be a Pokemon master is my destiny. I used to wear lip liner, but if you do want to define the outline of your lips a little bit more, that does definitely help. I've recently started doing it and it actually...
I don't have much of this left, so I don't know how it's gonna go, but this is a Rimmel London one and it's just like a nude colour.
You know, you can overline your lips and make them look a little bit more pouty. But with lipsticks, I feel like lipstick is probably the most bog standard basic thing to do with makeup. Just slap it on and hope for the best. So I'm using this Nude Sticks pencil, which is in the shade Lip Mystic. And because it's a pencil, you can kind of like get the shape of your lips as well. Oh my god, that's the perfect colour. I like to overline my lips a little bit just because they are naturally a little bit uneven. But again, it kind of goes for the same thing. Like if you've got quite dry lips, I would recommend using a more moisturizing glossy lipstick. Like if you do have dry lips, I wouldn't necessarily recommend like a matte liquid lipstick because that's probably going to be quite drying. That was probably the most useless makeup lesson that's on YouTube. But hopefully I helped.
Hey guys, so she didn't really mention, I think she just used that lip, but I'm actually going to use her own lipstick with Revolution, and this is the shade Sit, and it is gorgeous. It is a kind of moisturising one as well. Like she mentioned, I do get dry lips. Okay guys, so that's me finished the tutorial. What do you guys think? I think Sophie is so amazing at explaining things. She did really well with that video. She has given really good tips and techniques that I think I will introduce to my makeup routine. Using 2 brushes with a highlighter is such a good idea. Obviously it's something she said that she has picked up from another makeup artist, but it is a great tip. The same as smiling while putting my blush on and my highlighter is definitely an amazing tip, as well as doing like moving my lips to the side to get that like the contour effect. Again, it's something I'm going to introduce. Not going to contour and bronze, I'm just going to stick to just do my bronzer. And Beauty Blender, I'm sorry, I just know Beauty Blender just, I know that my makeup will just disappear soon. Again, using an eyelid primer is definitely something that has to stay in my makeup routine, because blending that eyeshadow was horrendous, but usually blending it with my eyelid primer is so much easier. So I highly recommend that if you don't use a highlight primer and you struggle with blending your makeup, then go and try one. I use the MAC, which is like a drying one, but then I also use the new XX Revolution one, which is more like a liquidy one, but it is really, really good as long as you don't go too much with it, because if you go too much, then you're screwed. But it makes your eyeshadow just last a lot longer. In the terms of those products, guys, I've never used before. The mascara, no. That was horrendous. Like, I will never be using that again. Like, it's just, no. The powder is actually really good. It has warmed my skin up and I actually really like it. It's not like warmed up my skin that looks fake, I don't think. I don't know what it looks like on camera. Be interested to see how the makeup lasts. I can't comment on the colour stay because I don't know what it's going to be like using my brush, so I need to see how it is with my brush. But other than that, guys, this is the end of my video. I really hope you have enjoyed this video and me following the lovely Soph. If you guys want me to do more videos just like these, then give me a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram so we can do the live video for who's going to win that giveaway, but also as well so you guys can choose Thursday's video. And please remember, guys, to please stay safe.